Moi kaikki! Today I want to talk to you a little bit more about my experience being an italki tutor, what it is, what I do there, and how my students learn in my classes. My journey as a tutor started already 1.5 years ago, and I've taught over 350 classes to over 80 students from all over the world. So let's reel things back a bit and start with the basic question, what is italki? You may have heard me talking about italki over the past several years quite a few times. Since they are a language learning platform, I've always thought they're a pretty good match for my channel. Italki is essentially an online learning platform that offers personalized one-to-one lessons in your target language. Whether it's Spanish, Japanese, or as the case with a lot of you on this channel, Finnish, you can find tutors as well as professional teachers to take personalized classes together with. Especially if your goal is to improve your listening and speaking skills with native speaking tutors, italki is a pretty good platform, especially since Finnish is a bit of a niche language. We only have around 5.5 million Finnish people in the whole world, so therefore finding someone that speaks Finnish natively can be a little tricky, especially if you don't live in Finland. In that case, italki offers you a bunch of different people who are happy and willing to help you specifically learn Finnish. And what about me? What do I do on italki? What are my classes like? So I advertise them as conversation practice classes where you can book a class with me and we can casually chat in Finnish. In reality, I'm quite flexible, and the things that I'm doing now with a bunch of my students varies a lot based on their level and what they want to learn. For example, if someone is an absolute beginner, of course, I can't just jump on the call and start talking to them in Finnish and expect them to understand what's going on. We have to start more at the basic level. So there's a few different things we can do. For example, a few weeks back, I had a class with Shirley from Finlandia Diaries. You can see a little clip of our class together on her YouTube channel.
I was able to find a Finnish-American tutor named Kat for my first lesson on italki, and we went over simple phrases you'd encounter at shops. At a store, for instance, what would a clerk usually say?
Someone might say, tarvitsetko apua?
Do you need help?
Joo.
Is that what it? Okay.
Tarvitsetko apua?
Tarvitsakko apua. The other two letters that sounded the same to me in the beginning are the English I and J, so it's E and E. Am I saying that right?
Like E and ye.
Oh, ye. E and E.
Ye.
Ye.
Something else I have done with another student that is a beginner is that they come to me and want to go through a book together. So for example, I have From Start to Finish, I have Suomen Mestari, and I now have Sun Suomi as well. So there are different options. And with these books, what these students want is to just go through the exercises together. So they'll do some homework ahead of time, they'll come to class, and we will go over what they did. We will practice especially the speaking exercises together, since that's something you can't do by yourself, and we will just slowly go through at their pace through one of these books. A step up with the more intermediate or advanced level students, we can either do a full-on conversation class where we just have freestyled conversation in Finnish. This helps them practice puhekieli, helps to maintain the language so you don't start forgetting it if you're not using Finnish that often. For example, if you used to live in Finland and then moved abroad but want to maintain the level of Finnish that you once had when you were here and learned it. You can also pick up new words during our conversation that I'll write in the chats for them. These classes also make sure that there is a specific set amount of time for this student to really sit down and practice using and listening to Finnish for this set amount of time. Sometimes also people just lack a little bit of confidence and they just need to practice a little bit more in a safe environment to make sure they feel more confident, boost up their self-confidence so that they'll feel more comfortable going out in the real world and using Finnish there. With some of my students, we also start with freestyle chat for the first half hour, and the second half hour we go over either a grammar point of their choice, or sometimes they also pick out articles that they like translating, and then we go over the translation together. They can read it out loud, practice pronunciation, as well as going through translating the article. I actually also have a book Ukia Kohti, so with one of my students who was preparing for the Uki exam, they were particularly wanting to practice the speaking exercises. So we'd go through the book and practice the exam speaking practices together, as well as some of the written exercises. So he would write down some of the written exercises beforehand, and then we would go through them. I would correct them during our classes and help come up with a good structure of how to answer those types of questions in the exam. Well, why did I become an italki tutor 1.5 years ago? I've had my YouTube channel Cat Chats Finnish for over 9 years now, and during that time I have had so many messages asking me about private tutoring sessions. And now, since I originally started my YouTube channel as kind of a hobby and nothing that I plan to take seriously, I never entertained those comments. I was always like, yeah, sure, I'm sure you can find someone better and more qualified for this. I don't think you should be asking me. I don't do private lessons, and I kind of ignored all those comments. They kept snowballing as my channel kept growing. Obviously, as the years rolled by, I got more and more subscribers, which thank you so much. And with that, I got more and more requests asking me if I can answer their questions privately or if I do any type of one-on-one tutoring sessions. I kept having to reject those comments as well, and finally I did end up partnering with italki. I used their platform more as a language learner, and it wasn't until I had used the platform for a while that I thought to myself, hey, maybe I could try being a tutor there as well. I do have a demand for it. A lot of people still keep asking me for classes, and if I don't like it, I can just stop. It's not like I'm committing to this as a lifelong career or something I must do for the next 20 years. I can just try it out. If it works, it works. If I don't like it, I don't have to continue. Obviously, teaching on YouTube and teaching in a live setting are two very different situations. With my YouTube videos, I plan it out very specifically, point by point, what I want to say. I can always edit it later exactly how I want. So if I say something silly or stumble over my words, I can just remove that bit. In a live class, you don't have this, and a lot of the time you're kind of going with the flow since you don't know exactly what to expect. But at the same time, it is really rewarding to meet some of you guys face to face and help you the best way that I can to improve your Finnish and be there for you in your language learning journey. And I do still have the habit of taking so many notes and write down everything I want to teach you or tell you in your classes, so that is still a habit I have. But essentially, that is how 1.5 years ago around I decided I would try out tutoring on italki. So it's not just me there that does Finnish classes. There are so many other tutors that also want to help you learn Finnish. So there are 2 types of lessons you can go for. One is with a community tutor, which is something I am. It's someone who doesn't have professional teaching qualifications, but we have a passion to help you learn, and we are usually native speakers or at a very high level of Finnish. On the other hand, there are professional teachers. So these are the people that actually have teaching qualifications. So if you are looking for something more structured, maybe they have a lesson schedule already prepared ahead of time, or they have a curriculum, and you're looking for actual structured classes, I would look for someone in the italki app that has this title, professional teacher, because that will be more the style that you are looking for. So if all of this sounds interesting and you're wondering how to book a class, I will take you through that step by step. So the first step is to browse through all the teachers and tutors that are offering lessons on the italki platform. You can watch introduction videos where you can get a bit of a feel of what the teacher is like, and after you see a profile you're interested, you can click on it. Some people offer more specific types of classes too. For example, this tutor called Alexandra. Once you find someone that interests you, you can click the book lesson with this person. You'll be taken to a page with a list of all the different classes this tutor offers, and you can pick the one that interests you most. You might ask, well, what is this trial lesson? It's a lot cheaper than the other classes, but what does it entail? When you first sign up on italki, you are given 3 trial classes. So what this means is you can try out 3 teachers for a reduced price, because of course you don't know beforehand, are you going to vibe with this person? Is this person going to get what I want to do? Sometimes you just click with someone and sometimes you just don't. You can't really know ahead of time. So you're given 3 opportunities to test out a teacher at a reduced price, and based on that you can then see, is this a good match for me? So how italki works is you pay per class. So you don't have to commit yourself to 10 classes with somebody, you just pay for each class separately. If this is something that sounds interesting to you or potentially interesting, you can click the link down below and use that to sign up for italki. Signing up is free, and see if there's any classes that at some point you might be interested in trying out. If you happen to have Instagram, I am running a giveaway with italki right now where you can win credits towards a free italki class. So make sure you go join that if you are on Instagram. You can also use my discount code, which you can find down below, which will give you €5 off any italki class that is worth €10 or more. Although you can only use this for booking your very first italki class on the platform. Now I want to pass the microphone to you. Do you have any questions about italki, about how things work there, about what my experience has been like, about me as a community tutor or my lessons? Please leave any and all questions you have down below in the chat. I'll be answering all of them. Don't you worry, I will read them all. Kiitos tosi paljon, kun katsoitte tämän videon, ja nähdään ensi viikolla. Moikka!